The Army just spent billions on the M7 and had a horrible time with it. Every other branch said no to it, and now there's a new program to replace it. So, what SOCOM wants instead is to keep the 5.56 and just make it hit a whole lot harder, like using a barrel barely longer than your forearm to hit as hard as a full-size rifle out to 600 meters. They call it the HICAR, the Hypervelocity Improved Capability Assault Rifle. It's pretty much built to basically kill the M7. To keep it simple, they want the whole thing to bolt right onto the existing M4. This first change helps the military tap into existing logistics and keep using the same magazines. That big 6.8 round only fits 20 rounds in a mag, so the M7 guy starts the fight with 3 times less ammo before he even pulls the triggers. So these are the bad ideas. And these are the better ideas. Their whole point is simple. 5.56 was never the problem. We just never pushed it as hard as it could go. So instead of developing an entirely new caliber, which it would just take more time and money, the military just want to build off the M855A1 instead. But make it shoot hotter. They call it the M855A1 Plus. The requirement wants a simple one-piece steel case, because steel is stronger than brass, so the walls can be thinner. Thinner walls leave more room for powder and they hold way more pressure without splitting. On top of that, one piece is cheaper to build than the complicated 277 Fury that uses 3 different pieces.
More knockdown energy. You're looking at a 140 grain bullet.
More pieces means more failure, and this has less failure. One of the biggest engineering principles is to get more power from speed instead of size. The M7 went with the bigger bullet route. This is what that heavy 6.8 bullet was supposed to do. And this is what a faster 5.56 can do. So the HICAR is going after pure speed this time. The plan is to load it all the way up, so the pressure equates to almost 23 times the pressure of a normal car tire. So this is what the old M855A1 is good for. And these are what the new A1 Plus is good for. If you don't like numbers and have no point of reference on how powerful these rounds are, let's just use some common things everyone knows about as examples. So, to put it into perspective, a normal 5.56 runs around 16 times a regular pressure washer in the barrel when it goes off. That's roughly 55,000 pounds per square inch. That's what they used in Vietnam.
700 to 800 rounds per minute, with a muzzle velocity of approximately 3,150 feet per second. The maximum effective range is 460 meters.
The M855A1 that we shoot today already is about 13% higher with a steel penetrator. It can penetrate hard steel armor dramatically better than roughly halfway through a plate that M855 barely dents, also with full fragmentation. It basically can squeeze 20-inch barrel velocity out of a 14.5-inch barrel, and this new A1 Plus round jumps all the way 32% over the A1, and turns all that extra pressure into speed. So what's the payoff? The plan is to have the bullet leaves a 12-inch barrel at around almost 3 times the speed of sound. So, without getting too technical, they still want what an M16 can do out of that 20-inch barrel, but just a shorter one this time. So, historically, these bullets can get the job done, and these are not doable with a smaller bullet. The next change was to set an honest, effective range goal. The M7 was sold on hitting targets at Afghanistan-type fighting distances, like out in open mountain terrain. The HICAR sets the range goal at roughly 600 meters. That's double a normal M4. And most troops never shoot past 100 or 200 meters anyway, so 600 is plenty. That extra reach just sits in your back pocket. It's just better to have it and not need it than when you need it and not have it. The next change is to cut the weight. The M7 is just too heavy. The gun plus its ammo stack the weight up fast, so here is ideal for a soldier, assuming he is fit. And here is not ideal. Load one out like this with an optic and a suppressor, and you are pushing 14 pounds. So all that weight stacks up fast. So the HICAR program puts a hard cap this time, under 8 pounds, and they want it down at 6.5. So all this comes down to making the material stronger and lighter, a higher strength to weight ratio barrel. So lighter gun with lighter ammo for spec ops. That's good, but making it too heavy is always bad. The next change is to tame the recoil. That big M7 kind of has a kick to it, so the HICAR program says nope, it has to kick way less. It has to be lesser than a 7.62 NATO. Now, think about that for a moment. If you're running a hotter round at higher pressure, which normally means more kick, not less. So they got to find a way to bring that recoil, that kick back down. Think of using some type of muzzle device, maybe a new gas system, and keep that little bullet firing red-hot ammo that still thumps softer than a full-size gun. So less kick means faster follow-up shots and better control. This wish isn't new. No matter what weapon you're building, everyone wants that. So the next one is to make it compatible with the M4. So yes, say goodbye to this M7. HICAR is not a new rifle, it's just a new upper that fits on the existing M4. So the lower stays, the magazine stay, the training stays, the Army has enough of those laying around, all ready to be upgraded. And on top of that, this can slash the cost. If you add it all up and the M7 is brutal on the budget, over $12,000 of your tax dollar for the rifle, the optic, and the can, the ammo runs around $23 a round. HICAR costs a fraction of that. So, this is expensive. Not expensive. Expensive. Not expensive. Smart. Not smart. So, after looking at these, then you may be wondering, what's the catch? The spec on paper may sound easy, but it's going to be a real engineering challenge to get it right, and it may take a while for them to figure it out. First is the bolt. So more pressure shoves it back harder, and that can crack the bolt lugs. We already kind of see this with today's hot ammo, so if you push it too hard, then it can damage the barrel and the bolt. So these guns need stronger bolt to work alongside a new barrel. The second one is potential shell extraction problem. When the bolt opens too soon, the empty case sticks in the chamber too tight, and it can rip the case lip or even break the extractor. The third challenge is the barrel. Can someone actually come up with something that works? If yes, then why haven't they done it in the past 2 decades? When a round goes off, every shot is a tiny explosion, and that explosion is very hot. The hottest spot sits right where the bullet starts its run. Gunsmiths call that spot the throat. Now crank the pressure up to 82,000, and that throat cooks even faster. The M4 barrel has a thin chrome lining to protect it, kind of like the coating on a non-stick pan. Run it this hot and that coating wears away. So once it goes, the barrel wears out fast, and then your shot groups start to spread. And here's the dots. Most people never connect them. The barrel problem and the bolt problem are really the same problem. So if you look at this deeply, the gun runs on gas that gets redirected to cycle the next round. So that tiny hole in the barrel, all that hot gas will slowly eat the hole wider. A wider hole grabs more gas slams the bolt back harder, and that pounding over time is what cracks the bolt. So heat and pressure hit you on both ends. They cook the barrel and they beat up the bolt. That's why this whole thing really comes down to 2 parts. So whoever builds a barrel that can handle that heat and a bolt that can take the beating, they're going to win the program, and whatever contract there is, they will make bank. You solve the heat and you solve both problems. Major manufacturers have already started working on designs, and they're all going to compete to come up with a round that can defeat level 4 body armor, but they're going to all do it smarter this time. And if the technology can crank an existing caliber up to these numbers with the right hardened bullet tip, then as soon as that's proven, it's game over for the 277 Sig Fury. The 250 machine gun might still be around, but we don't know yet. So here's where we land. SOCOM looked at the M7 and changed almost everything. If everything goes as planned, the Army is going to have a new gun soon.